write a memorandum? Can you write a memorandum? Then I know that you are ready for successful career. If I ask you to make a presentation and you make a presentation that is useful, then I know that you can be able to have a successful career. If I ask you to think about something and you give me what you think, then I know that you will be successful. But if I ask you to tell me something and you think what that professor wants to hear, and you give me a paragraph that you read from the book, even if you don't copy and paste it, but you give it with your own words, then I know that you are doomed to fail because you don't think. If I want you to have success, I prepare you so you would be able to fight. And I give you hard time in the class. Do I give you hard time in the class, or do I treat you like babies? And if I treat you like babies, you're not ready to face reality. Do I have a school that is designing for success or not? And I will pass it. I'm not going to give you an answer, because Baruch is the school that tests that assumption. And Baruch tests that assumption with the students that graduated and got jobs, and not with any students, but with the best students. And they got an answer. And the answer is that the employers are not happy with whoever was hired. And last semester I hired several people, but I fired almost everybody who had high grade point average. Do we really prepare you for success, or we are bullshitting? Is my question. And what I think is completely irrelevant. The important part is what you think. But the school invested heavily on that part. And the school had a big process. And that process is something that if you read chapter 20 and you understood anything there, you can be able to see that process and be able to tell me what you see. We had so many committees, and we had so many people involved in that particular process. And a lot of people decided not to be bothered, myself included. In literal terms, I was irrelevant and not interested and sabotaged. No, I did not sabotage it, because sabotage is when you take action that things not to happen. I let it happen, and I didn't bother. But many people didn't have choice, and they had to show interest so they can be able to stay in the system and be promoted. Is this relevant to you in real terms, or is this waste of time, energy, and matters? The way I read the news yesterday is that Miss Karen Wills failed. Her proposals are irrelevant. Still, they will go on till this new guy comes. Maybe this guy can change the path, maybe not. And we have something that is important. And what is important is it's too big to fail. There are many other schools but this year will fail. They will file for bankruptcy. But that's too big to fail. And you don't have to have a leader to have BMCC going. The bureaucracy would make it going. And you don't need to have professors. Anybody can come and teach, and you can come and go, and the good and the bad would stay. The main result is what? What do you get out of it? What each one of you gets out of it, and how you can go on and be competitive and have success. Are you going to be successful? I don't know. What I know is that son that was in my class in 2008, yeah, 12 years ago, he is successful. And he is successful because of whatever he did. Did I send you his resume? I promised to send you his resume. Did I send you his resume? Redzēji. Did you see son's resume? I promised to send it to you.
No, I didn't get a resume.
But I didn't get any message from you saying, Professor, you promised to send me son's resume, but I didn't get it. And I didn't send it to you because I gave you a promise, and I wanted from any one of you to be reminded on that promise. Because if I don't give you your grade on Saturday, you will remind me, Professor, I need grade for the class. But I gave you a promise, I'm going to send you son's resume. And no one said, Professor, you didn't do it. And I didn't do it because I want to see who would bother. And I'm bothered that no one bothered. Now, Redzei would say, are you mad at me, Professor? No, I'm not. I'm just shaking you up. Or I'm yelling you the same way that Sarah yelled her daughter yesterday. So the question is, we read the book. We did the outlines. That's fine. Can we put everything together? And can we see it from our perspective, from your perspective, from the personal way of seeing things? If we can do that, we are fine, and I want to see evidence about it. And what did I say to Zara yesterday? You're good, but when you present things, don't speed so fast when you talk. Speak slower and clearer. Because if she says something good and she says it so fast with so much energy and so much anxious, I would not get it. And I want to get whatever, not only Zara, but everyone can say. I have the question in different ways. I asked you to do a video. Did you send me the first video you did or not? And I'll give you an answer. I post a video every day after class. Did I work out on that video? The answer is no. Everything we do in class, I give it to you. Is this good? The answer is no. I need to go on and work on that material. Would I do it? Yes. The rest of the summer I'm going to be working. I'm going to listening to that video. I'm going to adding things up. I'm going to see things, how things are going to be better. So next time I will have a better product. The same thing I want from you. I don't want you to send me the first thing that it comes out. I want you to watch it, and I want you, after you watch it, to do it again, so it can be better and clearer. And I don't care from which point you start, if you are a 4.0 student or you are in academic probation. All of you can be able to do excellent work as long as two conditions apply. One is, you know what is excellency. Because if you don't know what is excellent, you cannot do excellent work. And you do that because you read a book that is really an excellent book. What is an excellent book? Something that you want to see it again, to read it again. And anytime you read it, you find other points that you need to pay attention. And it's not something that after you finish it, you want to throw it in garbage. What's the second condition? You need to practice and you need to do it. You cannot do excellent work if you don't know what is excellency. And I'm asking you to do excellent work, not adequate work, not just satisfied work. I want you to be better than the people who take management in NYU in Colombia. They are not better than you, simply their parents have bigger pockets. They are not better than you, simply they had the means to go to an Ivy League school. They are not going to go to the top. Colin Powell went to the top. But Colin Powell was a kid like you. Why did he go to the top? Because he knew what is excellent work. Where did he learn it? From his father that was working in a store, not from a professor that was teaching it. And after he learned what is excellent work, he worked hard. He moved the way up. Not as a gift or as a favor, but because as a pattern, as a path that moves on. The same thing I'm asking you to do it. Can you do it? And if you do it, I don't want tomorrow to be the last time that I will see you. Son applied to go to Colombia. He's going to go there only if he gets scholarship to do his PhD. I'm absolutely sure that he's going to do it. And I don't have anything against Colombia. And it is better than BMCC because it provides you ways to be networked at the upper class. Unfortunately, we are upper and lower and middle classes. And fortunately, the United States allows people to move among classes. Because if we were in Europe, we cannot be able to do it. Everyone who is in the top stays at the top, and everybody who is in the middle stays in the middle. And that's the advantage of the United States. People move from other places to come here so they can make the dream reality. And if you are here and you know how to work hard, I want you to have evidence for that. Not for me, for you. I don't need evidence from any one of you. I know who you are and what you can be able to do. But you need to have evidence because you need to build up your self-confidence. And you don't need only the self-confidence, you need to develop your own path. So you need to know where you are going. and you can be able to do it. That's the exam for tomorrow. What do I want you to be able to do by tomorrow? I'm saying it again, and then I will ask Redzai to repeat it. I want you to finish chapter 20 of the book, and I want you to go on and read the epilogue, the end of the book, the conclusion. And I want you to go on and see what is happening in your organization. And in your organization, you have your own experience from the classes that you took and the professors that you took and the help that you had and the tutoring that you had and the way that the libraries work and everything else. Not everything is bad, not everything is good. And I want to see how the organization is moving. The way you can see it in the official website of the school. But I don't want to take it as you see it, face value. I want you to distill it and take whatever is worth it of being taken. When you distill what is in the process by boiling, you take the alcohol, the water evaporates. And I want to cool it so the alcohol can be liquid again. And I want to have your own opinion. Is this planning for success really successful? And it doesn't matter what I think. I may do it because I don't like the face of certain people. That's not the case. The question is not who we like or who we don't like. The question is, what do we want to have an organization? Is our school something that helps you? Yes. To the way that has the capacity to do it? I don't know. I want you to tell me. If you can be able to tell me, then I know that you know how to think about organizations. And if you think about organizations, then I would know how you behave within organizations. And that is what is important. Nothing is going to be rosy and easy and well planned and well organized and everything is going to be helpful. Period. Nothing. Everything has its own struggle. And the question is, in management, do you know how to behave in that unclear, undefined, unknown situation? That tomorrow, not only for sure is not like yesterday, and today you know it very clearly because of the COVID-19, we don't have other choices. But that was exactly the same situation even before. But now it's clear and obvious. Are you ready for that? How? I want to see evidence. And I want you to tell me about it. And when you tell me about it, I want you to send me a video before tomorrow, tonight, but not 3 o'clock in the morning, at a normal time. How do I want you to send me that video? I don't want you to attach a video to me. I want you to make a video, watch it, improve your video. Whenever you are happy with whatever you have, put it in YouTube, in your own channel. So you can be able to erase it after that. And then send it to me so I can have it as a link.
আপু একটু আস্তে
Have
কথা
in
বলো না
mind that this is not something that is going to be kept only between you and me. I will take it and I distribute it to all of you tomorrow. And tomorrow, before the class starts and when you wake up and you take the train supposedly to come to BMCC and you spend an hour, I want to look at the videos that other people gave. I'm stopping here and I'm asking question. What is management? Sonali.
The way you manage stuff.
আপু একটু
The way
আস্তে
you
কথা
act.
বলো
What is management? Can you reframe it?
It is reframed in various structures.
Okay, that is kind of a management. But what is really management? Giuseppe.
Management is the knowledge that someone have to lead or to restructure stuff.
Management is not knowledge. What is management? Mario.
The ability to make decisions, to take decisions.
No, that is a requirement, but that's not it. What is management? Keith. Use what Mario said and move it one step further.
The process.
If you make decisions, what is happening?
You're being a leader, taking action.
No, most of managers are not leaders. What is manager? Junior.
Is to organize and plan what
Bullshit.
to do.
What is management? Redzei. This is what the book said. Redzei, what is management? What is manager? What the work is the work of a manager?
It's delegating.
This is what Junior had. This is what the textbook said. Otherwise, I will use a textbook. What's a management? Redzei.
I'm not reading the textbook. It's delegating and passing down information.
This is what the textbook say. Redzei, what is management?
Management
is when I produce something not with my work but with your work. Management is when you do things not on your own but with the other people that you manage. And when you do that, you cannot plan, you cannot delegate, you can deal with everything that is unknown every single moment. And you need to make adjustments. But mainly, management is production. That you don't produce as a manager, the people that you manage are producing. In doing that, you have to delegate, you have to do other things, but if nothing is coming up, you don't manage. And if whatever is coming up is messy, you mismanage. And if whatever is coming up is useful, then you have a great management outcome. And if whatever is coming up is competing everything else, then you are a winner. Otherwise, you're not. So what is management? Process. Management is when I produce, not with my work, but with processor's work. Management is what you are going to do by tomorrow. And that's the first step that I want you to be able to learn. Management is when you do things through the work of others and you have to work with others. But one of the important characteristics of management, and that is what is going to happen now, is we need to be able to evaluate we need to be able to assess. And we need to know how to assess the others. And we are assessing others in many ways. How do we assess others? One way to assess others is when we hire people. Did I hire any one of you here for the next term? Did I go after Sonali and Nandia and cases and I said, hey, I want you in this class with me next term? Management is when you hire. You hire whom? And you have to know. And why? You need to know. First thing is you hire. Second thing is you keep. Third thing is you know how to work with people. In order to do what? To have them produce. If I'm a good teacher, it doesn't mean anything what is my lecture. If I'm a good teacher, that means that I can manage you. That means that your work, your outcome, your product is valuable. That it is not only for the final exam, as most of educational system treats it. That's why we do not learn anything. That's why we test for the testing. And then we forget. Do you retain? Only if you retain, it is worth it. What do you retain? The record that you took the class and you got an A, B, and C, or the knowledge that you took the class and you learned 1, 2, 3. Nobody would care if for the 1, 2, 3 you will get A, B, and C. It is completely irrelevant. What is relevant is what you will retain. You take the class. What are you? Or what were you the last month? You were a recipient or a receiver? You get something and you transform it, or you get something and you deposit it. And when you deposit it, up to when are you going to keep it deposited? Up to the point that you will push the button and you will say delete. But if you delete, you waste memory. And memory is very valuable. But memory is misused. And tomorrow is the point of assessment. And why do I say that? Because an easy way to assess is to assess the others. And I want you to practice it. And before I give you grades for each one of you, I will ask each one of you to look at the work of everybody else. And I want that to be the first assessment that you will do. Everything that you will give me and everything that you gave me, I pass it to all of you. And then I will send you a list of everybody else except you. And I want to be able to assess. And I'm not going to give you any criteria. You have to find them on your own. I want you to assess the content. I want you to assess the presentation. I want you to assess the comfort. I want you to assess everything that you want to assess, that you want to say, or you don't want to say. And I want to see what is your assessment. What do we assess? We assess things that we admit or things that we do not admit. Do I like Redzei or not? In reality, we assess that. But if I don't like Redzei, do I get from Redzei the best of Redzei? And that's the art of management. Or the art of management actually is to put out of my brain and soul likes or dislikes and work with everybody in equal terms. Do we do that? No, in reality, we are racist. That's the racism. Things we like and things we don't like. And it's not bad because it's not political correct. It's bad because it does not allow me to get the most out of everybody. Can you work the opposite way? You are a winner. You cannot be able to do it. You have a problem. Because each one is not who the record shows, or who the face shows, or what is everything else. Each one is what the person has inside, in your soul and in your spirit. That is what actually you want to use. But this is something that you cannot pay and you cannot buy. What I can pay? 8 hours from Nadia's work. What I cannot pay? Her soul. What I can get? Only what Nadia will do in 8 hours in a prescribed work, or her mind to be creative in those 8 hours. But I cannot pay the second one. But if I'm a good manager or a leader, this is what I want to get. So what do I want you to do? I want you to assess everybody else and know why you assess that person. And I'll take that into consideration. And I'll put it in one list. And then we'll go on to the second assessment. What's the second assessment? The second assessment is, how do you assess yourself? And how you assess yourself in 2 different dimensions. And that's very important. Dimension number 1, irrelevant of everybody else. Whatever everybody else is doing is outside of the door. What you're doing. What you're doing. How do you assess yourself? But that's not a good assessment, because you need to be able to assess yourself relative to the others. And this is something that we do not usually teach and cannot be taught. This is something we can learn it only in action. How do I assess myself relative to the others? Is Zara a good student or not? And is he someone who can take the pressure or not? And she said, no, she can't take the pressure. That means who cares if she's a good student, if she's ready to quit? And I don't want her to quit, because I want her to believe that she's damn good. But because she's damn good, I want to know what is her weaknesses and how she would be able to overcome that weakness and move on. Only then she will be competitive and she will be able to achieve what is capable of achieving. Do we know that for ourselves? And I'm telling you, no. You ask people and they say, why didn't you give me an A? Why didn't you give me a B? Why you gave me a B minus and not a B plus? I don't care. I'll give everybody an A. It is irrelevant. What is relevant is to know how to assess yourself so you would compete the others. But the other you're going to compete is maybe your friend. It is maybe your boss. It is maybe your co-worker. But you need to know how you would be better than the other. Not always to put down the other person. Most of the times when you're better than the other helps you to put the other person that you compete at a better situation. Because competition, it's not only competition, sometimes it's cooperation. And we have that kind of a cooperative competition and competitive cooperation. But Steve Jobs in Apple understood that better than Bill Gates at Microsoft. And that's why Apple made contributions that are much more significant than contributions of Microsoft, irrelevant of the fact that Microsoft probably is a richer company than Apple. And Steve Jobs didn't bother the fact that Bill Gates was stealing ideas from him. And when they were in a meeting together, he was making fun out of it. He said, I got the idea and you use it. Good, use it because more people get the benefit out of it. But that requires you to study and know the differences between people that are leading in different terms and different ways. Like at a given point of time, how the relationship between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were going on as leaders of two competing companies. That the competition was actually in a cooperative form. Is this clear? So what do I want to do? Let me stop presenting that part. You don't need to see it. What do I want you to do by tomorrow? And I said, Redzai has to say it again. By tomorrow, I want to finish reading the book. I don't want any more outlines or any more of the past material. You read whatever you read, you study whatever you study, you know whatever you know. But I want you to go back and review certain things. Not the way that the book has it, the way that I want you to understand it. I want you to look at the structure so you would know tuning. BMCC would not be in a different path if CUNY was not going to a different path. And yesterday we have decision. CUNY is moving to a different path. We don't know what happened, and so many presidents resigned, got out, forced out, etc. We see only part of the case. We don't see everything. What do we see? We see 4 new guys to get into a job yesterday as presidents. 1 is a continuation. The 3 are new faces. We don't care about the entire umbrella organization. Focus on what you know. What do I want you to know? Where you are and where you are going. Zara is not in BMCC anymore. She moved to Baruch. She cares more about Baruch. The rest of you, you are at BMCC at this stage to get out. Where are you going? Not all of you going to the same way. Focus on where you are. Is everything perfect where we are? if you look at chapter 20, you will see that they wanted to present the school as being perfect. Was it perfect? And nobody will tell you what are the cases. Today with you, I said things that I will never say in a public discussion. And when I was talking with my friend, Professor Hong, I was saying, Jeff, don't talk about managerial things. We are not paid at BMCC to manage anything. We are paid to teach. Teach your class as good as possible. Don't bother about giving advice or ideas or criticism or feedback to the president, to the deans, or anything else. They are paid 2-3 times more than the professors. Let them do whatever they want to do. But what do? Do they lead or do they mislead? Do they create or do they waste resources? And in that case, it is you. And that is what it matters. What do you get for you? Did Redzai got as much as Taylor? And Taylor got as much as Jose? Or not? And why? And that's my point to stop. And I want in 5 minutes Redzai to say what I expect you to be ready for tomorrow. I'm listening. You are the only one that we see, right? Guys, do you see the class or you see Redzai? I'm not listening. I don't hear anything.
You hear me, right?
Now we hear. And I have the question for the class. Do you see the class or you see only Redzai?
Class.
But I click only for Redzai.
You have the pin right here. Or
Everybody has to pin, or if I pin Redzai, but you say you see only the class.
yeah.
Redzai, what do you need to do for tomorrow?
You said you wanted us to read chapter 20, and then after we finish that, you want us to go ahead and read the epilogue, and then you want us to actually apply that to our organization. Example like our classes, or teachers, libraries, all the other departments, and actually see how they're affecting us, or what kind of organization it actually is. You want to know what we got, what we got from it. Are they misleading, or are they not misleading us? You want us to actually know what kind of structure the CUNY structure is, and what kind of structure BMC's structure is.
Okay. Davis.
Yes,
Where are you?
right here.
Okay, what did you understand? Did I ask whatever Redzai said, or I asked differently?
Same thing.
Good. So by tomorrow, I want you to be ready. I'm not going to give you the link, because last time I gave you the book, you didn't look at them. I want you to find the links that are available at the BMCC's website. Tomorrow you're going to be talking. Before tomorrow, I want to have the video. Is this clear, Mario?
Yes, Professor, sounds clear.
Good. And we're going to see some of the videos, and you're going to see all of them, and we're going to go through the evaluation process. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow is July 2nd, the same day of classes. And after that, we're going to have a nice summer. Take care, everybody. And Sarah, hugs to the kids.